Welcome to Spiritual Life and Leadership, SPIR 550. I am Dr. Dan White, your professor of record. There is a course designer for this course who has put the online course together for us, but I am the contracted professor to lead you through the course, and I'll be grading all of your papers among other roles. Tell you a little bit about myself. I am a returning missionary from Peru and Paraguay, a little bit of time in Costa Rica, and 1 year in Russia. I have had the incredible honor of leading 3 church plants, all of which were Hispanic church plants, Spanish-speaking, one in Paraguay and one in Central Florida, another in Arlington, Virginia. And about 13 years ago, I transitioned over to theological education and am now spending the remainder of my life training pastors such as yourselves. The objectives of this course are to truly integrate your spiritual life with your concept of leadership. It is very easy, it is very easy to have leadership on one side of your life and to think that your spiritual life is in another. But as a friend of mine, a Roman Catholic priest, learned when he visited John Paul II, I think one of the best popes we've had in a number of generations, he asked him, he was 25 years old, and my friend asked him, what do I need to know about being a priest and pastoring in a local church? And John Paul II told him, the main thing you need to know is that you should pray more than anyone else in your congregation, and your congregation should know that. And that had formed him. By the time he and I became friends, he truly was a spiritual leader, not just a leader who happened to have a spiritual life. So this course is about truly integrating your spiritual life with your concepts of leadership. We'll be looking a great deal on, in American culture, what it is that keeps us away from being spiritual leaders, why so many of our leaders in local churches and at other levels within church hierarchies have become leaders who are spiritless or unable to connect with God when they are making critical decisions in the life of the congregation or the life of their agency or their nonprofit organization. How it is that we can avoid those issues of busyness or of time where we can truly be spiritual leaders. I'd suggest you take notes for the remainder of this video. There are going to be some professor expectations expressed, and it would be very good for you to have those down on a sheet of paper and close by as you are preparing assignments. There is a rhythm to the course. The course starts on a Friday. The week of a course starts on a Friday, but the first items are normally not due until Tuesday. You will need to check that week by week. I'm speaking generally, but generally speaking, you have from Friday until Tuesday to turn in your first assignment. But then all of the week's assignments are due by Thursday. When it says on the online site that you need to turn it in by end of day on Tuesday, that means midnight for me, and end of day Thursday is midnight on Thursday. But I can guarantee you that if you wait until Tuesday noon to start doing your week's worth of work, the quality of your work will go down very significantly. There really is a week worth of work, and you should not be waiting until Tuesday. And by Thursday, not only are the responses to the discussion post due, but also your Dropbox assignment, which is usually a 3 to 5 page paper, is due on Thursday. I encourage you to get Richard Foster's book, Celebration of Discipline, as quickly as possible. The syllabus will have all of the books that you need to obtain, but that, I would say, is the most classical and the most important book in this course. I'll speak to the 20% of you now. I know that 80% of you read carefully and read in depth, but at a good speed, in general in your master's courses as you did in college. But there's always 20% who try to read the least amount possible and still make it through a course. For those of you in that 20%, please put that mindset aside for Foster's book, Celebration of Discipline. As I teach this course, I'm reading it for the 22nd time. It has meant that much to my life. It is an absolutely life-transforming book. I encourage you to leave plenty of time to read it and to read it carefully and in depth and take notes as you read it. Take little sticky notes and have them popping up out of the book every time there's something life-changing that you read. You'll find yourself having a lot of sticky notes in that book. It is an absolute classic, and it is one of the top 10 books that I have ever read in my life. As you can tell by me, I'm being on my 22nd read of it right now. And after you read it, feel free to order 20 copies and give them out to members of your congregation who are at that point where they would appreciate a book like that. It is magnificent. Second point is proofreading. When you turn in a paper to the Dropbox, not so much with the discussion areas. You can use regular English for that with an occasional grammatical mistake here and there. But when you put something into the Dropbox, it is my expectation that it will be in good grammar and good spelling. If you were an English major or a communication major, you might be able to do that one all by yourself. But if you were not, the chances are very high that you're going to need a proofreader in your life. So I encourage you to identify that person and get material to them soon enough where they can get it back to you proofread with corrections so that you can turn in your assignments on Thursday night. I do expect there to be good grammar and spelling on these formal assignments. You are going to see in the Brightspace website that this course should have everything turned in according to APA format, which means American Psychological Association format. That is a style of writing, a style of academic papers. Please ignore the website every time that you see a reference to APA or Association of, what is that? American Association of American Psychiatric Association. Sorry about that. I had to remember what APA stood for. Wesley Seminary has very recently changed to Chicago style, otherwise known as Turabian style for academic papers. So for the Dropbox assignments, do not turn them in with APA style. Instead, make sure they are in Chicago style. And I will be sending you out a sample paper where you can see what a Chicago style paper should look like. Notice please, third, that this class has you working with a mentor. You should look through all the weeks of the course right now, as soon as you see this video, and see the different places where a mentor is required, a spiritual mentor. And as you look at those assignments, decide who that is going to be for you, connect with that person, and make sure that they have time for all of those meetings. I believe it's 4 hours that you're going to need to spend with that person. That person is not provided by Wesley Seminary. That is someone that you're going to need to have access to in your personal life or your professional life. So look through all of the mentor items and make sure you see what's coming so that you have that relationship set up. Next, please write me before the due date if something happens in your life. It is quite normal for you to have family issues, ministry issues, illness issues. It is totally understandable when something goes crazy in your life and you need a couple of extra days to get an assignment in. But the big no-no is do not send me an email 5 hours after the due date, after the due time, and ask me for an extension. That needs to be done before the due date with a full reason as to why you are asking for that extension beforehand by email. Okay, a quick note about week 8. You can look at the large assignment for week 8, the Dropbox assignment, and you will see that that is a 10-page paper. The natural question is going to come to your mind at some point. May I use the papers that I wrote for weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as pieces of that paper in week 8? And the answer is yes, you may. But you need to make sure that they all fit together in the proper way, in the way that week 8 is asking you to do so. So they should be merged together and transitioned appropriately. Okay, my contact information will be sent out in the announcement areas, which goes to you then by email. And what else do we have? Newbies. I know we have at least one brand new seminary student, and I'd like to make a quick note to the newbies. If you are new to Wesley Seminary, and especially if you are new to online courses, please know that the secret to online courses is to keep up with the material. If you get behind, you are dead in the water, up the creek without a paddle, whatever metaphor you want to come up with. You absolutely must keep up with the schedule. And if at all possible, keep ahead of the schedule so that when those family issues or ministry issues or personal illness comes along, that you are already 2 or 3 days ahead of the curve and that it's not going to set you back when that stuff happens. Online courses are all about self-discipline. There is a significant percentage of the U.S. population that just cannot do online courses because they don't have the self-discipline to do it and the time management skills. Online courses are all about time management. I recommend for your office door, if you are in a church position or in some nonprofit organization that knows you are doing a master's degree, that knows that you're doing coursework and it is integral to your success in that ministry, I recommend you make a sign up for your door that says, I am studying, and then in parentheses, please disturb me only for emergencies. And your organization will hopefully respect that. There is nothing like having a great idea for your paper. It's going to be what you write about for 2 or 3 papers, and you're about to write it down, you're about to dig in, you're about to write it, and somebody knocks on your door, and when they finally leave 10 minutes later, you have no memory whatsoever of what it is you were going to write. So concentrated times where you can focus on your academics are really the key, and a sign can be incredibly important for the outside of your door to have a couple of hours every day where you are in essence checking out. If you're working from home, I suggest a sign for your family as well, polite but firm. That will bless you tremendously in online work. Okay, let's look at a couple of strict academic items. The nature of the discussion post. You'll see a significant number of discussion posts. Sometimes it tells you how many words is the minimum for that discussion post. If it does not tell you the minimum, then my minimum is 250 words for the initial discussion post. And then when you start doing responses to others' posts, which is normally 2 responses to posts that other people have done, those should be a minimum of 150 words. So leave yourself plenty of time to do those 250 word minimum discussion post and 150 word minimum responses to others' discussion post. If there is something in the coursework for a particular week that uses a different number, then go with the course designer's number of words for that assignment. Okay, I think that's all the details I have for you. If I think of anything else that I need to communicate with you, it'll be in the announcement area, and that naturally and normally generates an email to you as well. Any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact me. Email's the best way to reach me, and definitely within 12 hours, if not much quicker than that, I will get back with you. God bless. Let me know if I can help.